Morgan Freeman recently was accused of sexually inappropriately behaving with several women. 8 different women came forward in a CNN report saying that he had said inappropriate things to him. He had said things to them that were inappropriate, rather, or he had touched them in a way that made them feel uncomfortable. And now he has issued a statement, and he and his lawyer have a 10-page letter out demanding an apology and a retraction from CNN. So he says, 80 years of my life are going to be undone in a day, and it's just not right. And he's arguing that he did not do any of this.
It was more than just 8 victims. It was also 8 witnesses.
Right.
So it was like 16 people in all on the record, including one person in the story who said, including according to the reporter, a number of people who, when they called about it, said Morgan Freeman. Like just when said, hey, we're calling about, a famous actor, and they were like, oh, is it Morgan Freeman?
So they were ready. They knew that it was a secret that had been whispered about for a long time.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that I think taints this whole story is that CNN had the person who received this unwelcome sexual dialogue also report the story.
She was a reporter for CNN.
She was one of the reporters on it.
Right. I think
that was surprising. Yes.
Yeah, and I think maybe like you then have somebody else report the story and have that person be one of the people, the sources. I don't know. That I could see pointing that as sort of like that's an odd choice. Yeah. But beyond that, I mean, it's like these stories have to play out and be investigated, and there's the whole knee-jerk thing of like, no, it's not true, shut it all down. It's like, well, we'll shut it down after we've talked to everybody and figured out if there's a there there.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a hard choice if you're CNN though, because you're going to get similar questions, almost the same type of questions, if you don't have that reporter be part of the story.
No, I mean, have her be a source, just not the lead reporter.
It's a little problematic to have her report.
She wasn't the sole reporter, so she had to work with somebody else. But I thought, let me make sure, because I want to make sure the part I said is correct. Several times during this investigation, when a CNN reporter contacted a person who had worked with Freeman to try to ask them if they had seen or been subjected to any inappropriate behavior by an actor they had worked with, not initially even naming the actor they were asking about, the person would immediately tell them they knew exactly who the reporter had in mind, Morgan Freeman. So several times, apparently.
So what Morgan Freeman says in this long statement is, I admit that I am someone who feels a need to try to make women and men feel appreciated and at ease around me. As part of that, I would often try to joke with and compliment women in what I thought was a lighthearted and humorous way. So could this possibly, at least partially, be a case of he's an old school kind of guy who makes old school kind of jokes, and it's a different era now, and that kind of behavior is not acceptable, and he has not learned that? Or that kind of talk is not acceptable?
Of course, it could be that, and it's certainly,
right.
And look, as to all these things, they're not cut and dry. I'm sure it is that to him.
Right.
But it sounds like from reading the piece, and I'm an enormous Morgan Freeman fan. He was one of the most fun junket interviews I ever did when I was doing junket interviews. But the story was fairly compelling and fairly well researched.